when the night devours the sky and the wind howls through the window, like the whispers of wandering souls.
Listen closely, for some spirits have awakened.
Tonight, we will tell the forgotten legends of the medieval world.
They have names, they have memories, they have stories.
The man who tricked the devil, Jack. The woman whose fear turned her into a monster, the witch. The immortal cursed by blood, the vampire.
The beast that rises under the moonlight, the werewolf. The kings of death resting in tombs, the mummies. The restless spirits, the ghosts. And the skeletons laughing in the dark. The skeletons.
7 legends, 7 souls, 7 lessons about fear and humanity.
Are you ready to face them?
Do you have the courage to listen until the very end?
When the full moon shines upon the October sky, the ancient legends of Halloween come alive once more. In the previous video, we explored the terrifying origins of Halloween. From the ancient Samhain festival to the legend of Jack-o'-lantern, the man who fooled the devil himself to escape his fate.
We also met another chilling figure, the woman in the black cloak, riding her broomstick across the night sky. Known by a name that has terrified humanity for centuries, the witch.
In this video, you will dive deeper into the world of forgotten myths and mysteries.
And you will learn how to tell these stories in English, slowly, clearly, and with emotion, to practice listening, speaking, and shadowing along with us.
We will meet more creatures of Halloween: the vampire, the werewolf, the mummy, and ethereal, the wandering spirits of the night. Each legend is a piece of the puzzle of fear and a lesson about human courage.
So, prepare yourself. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and join us as we open part 2 of the journey.
In the 15th century, in the mist-covered land of Transylvania, now known as Romania, people told stories about a terrifying prince, a man who was both a hero and a demon, Vlad III, Dracula.
He was the son of Vlad II, who was given the title Dracul, meaning the dragon. His name, Dracula, means son of the dragon. But people did not remember him for his victories alone. They remembered him for the way he spread fear, with blood.
At that time, this land was torn between 2 great powers, the mighty Ottoman Empire from the east and the Christian kingdoms from the west. To hold his rule, Vlad used violence as justice. He did not kill swiftly. He chose to make his enemies fear him to their very souls.
People called him Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler. He executed thousands of prisoners by driving stakes through their bodies. and left their corpses standing outside the city walls. Rows of bodies trembling in the wind looked like a forest of blood, and anyone who passed through would fall to their knees and pray.
People believed he did more than just kill. They said he drank the blood of his victims to absorb their strength. According to the legend, when a prisoner was executed, he would lift a silver goblet filled with blood, dip bread into it, and eat in silence, his eyes unblinking.
Those tales spread across Europe. German and Hungarian merchants wrote in their journals that, in the land of Wallachia, there is a prince who drinks the blood of his enemies to live longer than any human. And over time, the image of Vlad was swallowed by the very fear he created.
In the year 1476, Vlad died in battle. But when his tomb was opened years later, his body was gone. No one knew where he was buried, and legend says he still wanders through the forests of Transylvania, hidden inside an ancient castle, sleeping through the day and waking when night falls.
In the 19th century, an Irish writer named Bram Stoker heard that legend and wrote the novel Dracula, published in 1897. He turned Vlad into an immortal vampire, a creature who lives on blood, fears the sunlight, and rests inside a coffin. Since then, Dracula has become the symbol of darkness, seduction, and eternal fear.
But if we look beyond the layers of legend, Dracula is not only a monster. He is the image of power and loneliness, of a man who wanted to overcome death, but was cursed for his ambition.
When night falls among the mountains of Transylvania, the wind whistles through rotten wooden windows, and people still whisper. Those red eyes are still watching from the darkness. And if you wander into the forest on a blood moon night, you might hear a voice whisper, "Welcome to my castle. I have been waiting."
When the night descends and the moon hangs in the sky like a drop of blood, a creature awakens. It rises from its cold coffin and silently steps into the world of shadows.
People call it a vampire, a being that lives forever but has no soul. It cannot die, yet it can no longer live as a human.
Legends say vampires are cursed souls, people who committed great sins while alive, and when they died, their spirits found no rest. When darkness falls, they return, hiding in deep graves, then crawling out from the earth to seek human blood.
Because blood is life. They drink it to keep existing. But the more they drink, the further they drift from their humanity.
In ancient Eastern Europe, villagers once dug up the graves of those who died mysteriously. When they opened the coffins, they found bodies that had not decayed, with lips red as if stained with blood, and nails longer than before. They believed these were vampires reborn.
To stop them, they drove wooden stakes through their hearts, scattered garlic, and placed crosses upon their chests. Some even decapitated the bodies and burned them so their souls could never return. Those rituals were born of fear, but also of hope for peace.
Vampires fear the sunlight because the sun is the symbol of truth. They exist only in the night, where the curse cannot be broken. They cast no reflection in mirrors, for their souls have been drained away.
And they cannot enter a home unless they are invited, for that threshold separates the world of humans from the world of demons. Once invited in, they become guests who will never leave.
But vampires are not just about blood and death. They are creatures of seduction and solitude. They speak softly, their eyes cold yet deep, holding an endless sadness, for they have lived too long, watching everything fade away.
Legends tell of vampires who once fell in love with humans. They longed to feel warmth again, but every time they touched, the life of their lover faded away. Their love always ended in blood.
Some say vampires are not frightening because they drink blood, but because they mirror the deepest part of humanity, our fear of death and our desire to live forever.
And that very desire is what turns humans into monsters. Not because they are cursed, but because they never learn when to let go of life.
Today, when you see someone dressed as a vampire, wearing a black cloak, sharp white fangs, and red eyes glowing under the Halloween moon, do you ever wonder why that image both terrifies and fascinates us?
Because vampires are not just monsters from legend. They are reflections of ourselves, our yearning to live forever, to keep our youth, our love, and our power, even if it costs our souls.
Vampires live forever, but in loneliness. No friends, no family, only the darkness as their eternal companion. They watch centuries pass, people love and die.
In every step they take, there is the pain of witnessing everything fade, and the emptiness of one who cannot die. Because sometimes, life is not a reward. It is a punishment.
Halloween is the night when humans dare to face that fear. They put on the cloak and the fangs, not to become monsters, but to confront the darkness within themselves.
They laugh. They pretend to be afraid. But deep inside, everyone knows. Every legend, from witches to mummies to vampires, is a mirror of humanity's oldest fears. The fear of death, the fear of being forgotten, the fear of living forever without feeling.
The vampire, the creature of the night, has become the immortal symbol of Halloween because it represents an eternal question. If you could never die, would you still be human?
And perhaps that is why he still returns every Halloween. Not to hunt, but to remind us. Light only has meaning when you know what darkness is.
So when you see someone dressed as a vampire on the street, do not just laugh. Remember that behind that mask lies a story hundreds of years old, of fear, desire, and the curse of immortality.
Tonight, as the full moon rises in the sky, if you hear the flutter of bat wings outside your window, do not be afraid. Perhaps it is just Dracula, still wandering, searching for the soul he once lost.
Before Halloween was ever born, long before tales of witches and vampires were told, people believed in a creature that was half man and half beast, a being cursed to become a wolf under the moonlight. They called it the werewolf.
The first legend of the werewolf comes from ancient Greece. It tells the story of King Lycaon, an arrogant man who dared to challenge the gods.
Zeus told the other gods that a wicked warning of this demonic age had reached his ears, and though he hoped it would prove untrue, the king of the gods descended to earth as a mortal.
When night fell, Zeus came to Arcadia and revealed his divine identity to the people. While the Arcadians prayed and worshipped, King Lycaon alone mocked them, saying, "A fair test will show whether this one is a god or a mortal."
Lycaon planned to murder Zeus while the god slept, and served human flesh to him at a feast. He slit the throat of a hostage from Molossia, boiled the limbs, and roasted the rest over fire.
The dish was set before Zeus, but the god recognized Lycaon's deceit.
Zeus fell into a rage. He struck the palace with lightning and turned Lycaon and his sons into wolves. condemned to live forever in the bodies of beasts, tormented by a thirst for blood.
From then on, the Greeks called such shapeshifters lycanthropes, humans who carried the soul of a wolf. And so a curse was told across the centuries. When humans eat the flesh of their own kind, when they lose their humanity, they are human no longer.
That legend traveled north, where Viking warriors believed the spirit of the wolf brought strength and courage in battle. They wore pelts, painted claws, and drank blood before war.
They were called the Ulfhednar, the wolf warriors of Odin. When drums thundered, they howled like beasts. Their enemies believed they were no longer men, but spirits of the forest.
But with such savagery came curses. Warriors who killed the innocent would be punished. They could no longer remove the wolf skin, and when the full moon rose, the beast would awaken to tear apart both body and soul.
By the Middle Ages, the legend had spread across Europe. Villages told of men who vanished under moonlight, returning at dawn with blood on their hands.
One of the most infamous cases was in Gévaudan, France, in the 18th century. A giant beast, believed to be a werewolf, slaughtered over 100 villagers. Soldiers hunted it, but no one knew, did they kill the beast or just a man bound to a curse?
People began to believe that anyone bitten by a wolf or cursed by a witch could become a werewolf, and when the full moon rose, they would no longer be themselves.
When night falls and the moon rises above the ridge, the world sinks into silence. That is the hour of the full moon's curse.
When the moon is round and bright, its light pierces the soul, stirring instincts long buried. For those marked by a bite or a curse, moonlight becomes the blade that frees the beast within.
In a village in northern France, a story lived on about a man named Lucien Moreau. He was once kind, gentle, a hunter. But one night in the forest, he was attacked by a massive wolf.
He survived, but the wound never healed. Every full moon, his blood burned like fire. He heard howls in his mind, and in the mirror, his eyes gleamed gold.
One night, he tied himself to a post and told his wife, "If I begin to scream, do not open the door." But when the moon reached its peak, his bones shattered, his skin split. A howl tore through the night.
The door burst open, and the man vanished. By morning, they found him bloodied, but the blood was not his own.
He fled to the woods, hiding from the world. Each full moon, he locked himself in a cave to protect others from what he had become.
Yet villagers whispered that when wind swept through the forests of Gévaudan, they could hear a long, mournful howl, not of a beast, but of a man, trapped in his own skin.
From then on, the full moon became more than just a sign in the sky. It marked transformation. The werewolf became the symbol of the moment when instinct devours reason.
Some say the full moon turns wolves into men, and men into beasts, because its light shines not just across the heavens, but straight into the soul.
A werewolf is not born a monster. He was once human, but inside him lies a wildness that lives in all of us.
So the legend is not just about darkness. It is about the battle within us all, between reason and instinct, between shadow and light.
The werewolf is the image of a person who has lost control. When rage, fear, or envy take over, we too become monsters.
The full moon in legend is the moment when the mask breaks, when hatred and pain spill out, and no one is safe.
The beast in the heart never disappears. It sleeps until someone wounds us or fear awakens it. Then, we remember what the ancients said. The most terrifying creature is the human who forgets himself.
The werewolf is not just cursed. He is in pain. He is the soul who longs for peace, but is torn apart by fear.
Every Halloween, when you see someone dressed as a werewolf, remember, it is not just a mask to frighten, but a symbol of the war within.
We wear masks to play with fear, but also to hide our wildness. Halloween is the one night we face the darkness and smile back.
The werewolf belongs to Halloween because it tells a truth, that the scariest monster is not found in forests, but within ourselves.
And perhaps that is why, whenever the full moon shines, somewhere in the voice of the wind, a lonely howl echoes, not of a beast, but of a human being, begging to be forgiven for his own nature.